Well, good afternoon. This is the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group, known as the WinSIG. Today we're going to talk about Windows 10, the Fall Creators version, which is also known as 1709. We're going to talk about what's new, what's updated, and what's missing. My name is Huey Poplock, and I put these meetings together every month for the Central Florida Computer Society, and I have been doing so for several years. I also maintain a website for the Windows Special Interest Group. It's called the WinSIG. It's on huey.net, which is my website. I have a monthly newsletter. Make sure that you are a subscriber of that newsletter so you'll know what the next meeting is, links to the last meeting, and usually some kind of a tip or trick. And I only try to send it out once a month. At the most, you should get 2 messages a month. So make sure you fill that out. It goes through MailChimp so that you will should be able to get it. If you have an AOL address, make sure that you have somehow indicated that you want those to go through. I notice that some AOL addresses do bounce. So if you have AOL, you might want to check and see what's going on. And other than that, by all means, sign up for the newsletter. Okay, the Windows 10 Fall Creators Upgrade, also known as 1709 for the year 2017. It was supposed to be released in the 9th month, which will be September, but it actually came out October 17th. I use as a manual for Windows 10, the Windows 10 Field Guide by Paul Thurrott, Rafael Rivera, and Martin McLean. Paul Thurrott is one of the foremost writers of information about Windows and Windows 10 as of late, but has had many books in the past. But instead of having them published and them go out of date very quickly, he's gone to a self-publishing way of doing this. It's suggested at $15 a book, but they will accept as low as $9.99 for the book. You do it online, and let me go to the next page. Down at the bottom is the address where you can subscribe to, where you can purchase the book and get more information about it. You'll notice the front cover down on the bottom right-hand corner. It says now includes the Fall Creators Update. He updates this book on a regular, in chapters and pages on a regular basis. So about once a month, there is an update. The last one was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's been updating this ever since Windows 10 came out. And so there's been several updates. It's all, the updates are free of the book. So once you have purchased it, you can go back and they'll send you a notice that there's an update to the book. You go and you download it. So you can get it as a PDF, an EPUB, and there's one other, I believe it's the one for the Amazon format. Okay, now how do you know whether you have the the latest version of the Windows 10? And that would, you go to Settings and then Home and About, and you'll notice at the bottom it says Windows, and it's the bottom of this screen capture. There's more information on that page, but it says Windows Specification Edition. Windows 10 Pro is what I have. You may have Windows 10 Home, version 1709. And if you have the Pro 1709, most likely you have the build 16299.19. That number may not be cast in stone, but it should be the version of 1709 if you have the latest version, the one I'm going to be talking about. If you've looked at your updates, this is the install update history on mine. And it may be different on yours because you may have some versions of Microsoft Office and some other Windows programs, Microsoft programs that go through the update, as well as you may have a slightly different version than I have, so that you'll have some different updates, but you'll notice that there have been updates since the 10/18/2017 at the top, where I did do the update to the 1709. Now, just so you know, if you do look at your version number and it isn't 1709, the 1703 was the last version, which came out in April. And then the 1607 was last year's. It was the only update in 2016. It came out in August of that year. And then there have been, the original update was in 2015-07, July, and in November was the first update. So that'll give you an idea what version and when it came out. And it's my understanding that both of the 1500 versions or from 2015 now have been are no longer supported. So you want to make sure you're at least 1607, but you should go to 1709. The next version will be 1803. It's scheduled to come out in March or April of 2018. Okay, so what's new in Windows 10, the Fall Creator 1709? One is they put 3D models in your world. There's a lot of 3D and artificial intelligence and some of the other terms that are floating around dealing with 3D art. I don't do any of that, so and I will talk a little bit more about it, but you're going to see more and more information on that. And there's probably a lot of us gray hairs aren't interested, but a lot of the younger people who do a lot of gaming or are putting together games and so on, they'll find this important to them. You can also animate 3D models in PowerPoint. Also, emojis. They've added a whole bunch of emojis that you can add from your keyboard. They haven't been most recently used. Smiley faces, people, celebrations and objects, food and plant, transportation and places, and symbols. Each of the pages that you're seeing on the screen, except for the most recently used one, which is the first one on the left, top left, all have slide bars on them. In other words, there's a lot more there. I only did a quick screen capture of them. Another thing that's been added is the talk instead of type. In other words, the dictation, and that's built in. You can switch seamlessly from your phone to the PC. You can start browsing the web, writing emails using apps in your phone, and continue on your PC instantly. Set up your phone in settings and phone, and I'll have another slide or two on that. So Microsoft Edge for iOS and Android has been released. Both of these apps, once you have them on your device and signed in using the same Microsoft account as your Windows 10 device, will allow you to share website links directly back to your computer if your computer is running the Fall Creators Update. So not only do you have to have the Fall Creators Update on your PC, but you do have to have the Microsoft Edge for either iOS or Android for that part of it to work. And then you have the option to open the link immediately in the browser on that device or push it to the Action Center so it can be viewed later. This is the Apple app, and where you get it, you go to, obviously, you go to the iTunes and download it and put it on your iOS machine or unit, whether it be an iPad or an iPhone. And then on Google Play, you want to get the Microsoft apps, and then you also want to get the Microsoft Edge. Now, to link it, what you're going to, this is with the page in settings that you have, and what you just have to do is put in your phone number, and that will take care of the linking for you. This is what you do on the PC side. Another change or addition to the Windows, this latest version of Windows, is you can fix a letter without starting over if you have a tablet type desktop. If you've got if you can write on your screen or tap on your screen, in other words, you've got a touch screen. If you write the wrong letter, it's easy to fix. Just write over it with the one you intended. That's using the open pen. What you have to do is open the pen and ink settings and tell it you want to do that. You can highlight text or add notes to ebooks. And once you click the edit button, you get what you see there above, where you can highlight, you can underline, you can put some notes, and so on. So you can do some things with e-notes or ebooks. And what you do in the settings is you go in and you turn on handwriting input panel and the Windows Ink workspace. Make sure those are turned on. And then you should be able to do a lot of extra work with your pen on your tablet interface or your touch screen. Here's so one of the things you can do, or an example of what it looks like. You can circle things, you can write an arrow, you can circle something else, you can actually write words on there as well. I did that in an animated GIF, so it's going to play over again, but just so you see what you can do. Again, circle, you can draw on it, you can write a word. And okay, let's go to the next screen. Okay, you can also mark up ebooks and PDF files. And what you do is you can see where my arrow is. It's pointing to the top. And what you want to do is go to the ink icon, or it looks like a pen and some writing. When you click on it, you can then choose what you want to do. You can pick up the highlighter and you can highlight something. Or then you can go to the pen and you can change the color of the pens. You can change the color of the highlighting, but you can actually draw on there. And then you can save it actually to the document. And so you then updated your document with the annotations that you've made. Something else you can do is you can pin sites that you use frequently. You can pin them to the taskbar, which is the taskbar is the bar at the bottom of your desktop, and that's a single click. Anything that's in the taskbar is a single click. Anything that's an icon on your desktop is a double click. So what you can do is, if you've got a website that you like, if you go to the three buttons or the dots at the top right-hand corner of your edge, you can you get a choice of several things that it'll do. One of them, reading aloud, you'll notice there, but you can pin it to the taskbar. And once you do that, then it's there. So if you've got a website, you're working on a project, and you got to keep going back to that particular page or that website, if you put it to the taskbar, it'll make it a lot easier, and it'll be a single click when you do so. And this is what it would look like if you're on the web page. You click the three buttons to the right, and you can pin it to the taskbar. And you can also pin it to your start button. Now, when I talk about start button, that's when you push the start button and you get all the little blocks, it will create a block for you in the start groupings of pages. So you can get to a web page very easily, not just your browser, but you can get to a particular web page. You can pin a contact to the taskbar. You can see how many different notifications you have from your favorite people. Right on the taskbar, you select the people, and that's the double people icon. You find and then pin the contact, and you choose the contact to pin. And when you do so, whenever you get notifications from them, it'll pop up for you. You can also, from the taskbar and from having somebody on the taskbar under people, You can put a particular person there. And so what you can do is something that I took one of my links, and because I have a name, the name is in my people list. It's also, I've got an email address for them and a Skype address. I can choose to do whatever I want with that person from either of those. So I can send them an email, try to connect with Skype, or send a Skype message, or just watch the notifications from them. Something else that you can do in this new version is edit the URL in your favorites list. You can just open the favorites list, right-click on the item you want to edit, and select the URL. Here's an example. I'm on my web page, and I'm looking at my link to the Chromebooks website that I also maintain, and I put it on my favorites list. And if I click on it, I can actually edit. So if there's a particular page I want to go to, when I clicked on favorites, it took me, say, to the home page, and that's not where I always want to go. I want to go to the blog, or I want to go to another page. I can actually edit it and put exactly what page I want. Or if I click on the link and it's to a website, a particular page on the website, and I just want the home page, I can delete everything up to where the .net is, or .com, so on, and it'll always take me to the home page instead of that particular page. So you don't have to go back, open it up again, create another favorite, and then try to figure out how to get rid of the original. So you can actually edit your links in the favorites bar. Under security, some of the things that you can do now, you can do a controlled folder access. You can recover your PIN and password from a lock screen. And there's a good article on this at itprotoday.com. And there's the address. I'll leave it up here for a couple of seconds. If you want to take a look, it's Windows-10, Windows-10 Fall Creators Update Security, and all of that's separated by dashes. I'll make sure you jot that down. Okay, here are some other changes to the Fall Creators Update 1709. These are some of the basics. You can sign in with one account on all your devices. So add no Microsoft account to sign in on all your devices. Select Start, Settings, Accounts, Email, and App Accounts, and then select and add a Microsoft account on each device. Sign in to the account. So something that you can do, makes it easier to sign into your Microsoft account. You can edit documents. Use the Microsoft Office to edit documents on your PC or phone. Install the Get Office app to find out which free or paid version of Office is right for you. You also want to take a look at the online version of Office, which is free to do most of the things that you're going to want to do. And you get to that from the browser by going to office.com. And if you don't have a Microsoft account, make sure you set one up. It's free. And if you have one, sign in and then go to Office Online, and you can run Excel, PowerPoint, Word. You can get to your OneCloud. You can get to Publisher. Publisher may require a paid account. But if you have Office 365, all of that's available as part of your Office 365. And you'll get extra storage space on OneDrive as well. You can get apps for your PC through the Microsoft Store. It's my understanding, too, now they are in the process of putting hardware. So you're going to be able to order Surface computers and mice and other Microsoft hardware through the Microsoft Store as well. Finding things with Cortana. I don't use Cortana a lot. I do use the internal search and the external search. I don't use the voice commands for it, but there is a little microphone, and you can actually set it up to have the microphone available, much like the Amazon Echo and the Google Home, where your computer can be listening for you, and when you say the keyword to get Cortana's attention, she'll say she'll be ready for you to do so, and you can ask her questions. Sometimes it comes up on the screen, sometimes she'll answer you. You can search the web using Cortana. It defaults with Bing. You select the search box on the taskbar to open Cortana Home. You select web, and then you type what you want to search for. You can write on your PC screen using the Windows Ink Workspace, which is on the right side of the taskbar to get started. And you can do that on any screen, then do a screenshot. And so if you've got something on your screen, you can do notations and then send them off to somebody or keep them for posterity. You can use Groove with the locked PC. When your PC is locked, you can keep the party going by using the playback controls on your lock screen to play, pause, and skip ahead to another song. The Groove as a way of purchasing records and music is going away. It will still be the player, but it's the purchasing music. You're going to be using other sources and not Groove very shortly. Okay, create in 3D. As I said, I don't do much of this, so I'm just going to mention the different things that you can do. You can make a 3D shape in Paint 3D. You can turn a sketch into a 3D object using Paint 3D and 3D Doodle. I guess it's like Yankee Doodle. You can put 3D models in your world. You can share 3D creations. You can cut out shapes from images. You can get 3D models for Paint 3D. You can add 3D objects to your Office files, and you can animate 3D models in PowerPoint. So there's a lot you can do with 3D. As I said, this isn't something I am ever going to get into, at least in the foreseeable future. I'm not interested in it. I don't have a use for it. But if it's something that you would like to be involved in, it is available and it is part of this Fall Creators Update. Some of the things that you can also do for your PC is you can personalize it. You can make a picture of your background. You can start. You hit the start button in Settings, Personalization, then Background, and under Background you can select a picture and browse. You can find a picture you want, and it'll add it to the grouping. You could do this in earlier versions, but it was quite involved. You had to get the picture, you had to put it in the right folder, point to it, and then for some reason, a lot of times the connection to it would be lost, and you'd have to do it over again. It just didn't work right. Now it's part of the operating system. So you can create your own backgrounds. I prefer colors only because I do a lot of these presentations, and so I don't want to have a picture in the background to confuse people when they're looking at my desktop. And then I also I'll get to that in just a second, but you can also, to your account, add your picture so that your picture comes up as part of your account. You can personalize your lock screen by selecting Start, Settings, Personalization, and Lock Screen. And to be honest with you, I've tried this on 3 of my PCs, and it doesn't work on any of them. So I don't know if this is something that's coming or something I just haven't set up properly. I thought I did. I clicked on all of the personalization settings, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen. I'd like to have the temperature and the weather report along with the time and the date, and it just doesn't show. I'm not on this screen very often anyway, but sometimes I am. And if the weather was there, it would change and so on, and I would prefer that. You can create your own theme, and there are settings for that. You can download a lot. They've added a lot of desktop themes. I stay very generic. The one it comes with is the one I leave it. And the reason why is because I'm showing people my screen, and if it looks too much different than most people, their computer as it comes with, they get confused and wondering what I'm doing. So I try to stay generic. But for some, I've gotten some people to try to help them with their computers, and they've got all kinds of purple colors, and just it, it becomes a challenge sometimes to try to figure out uh, what it is, but they're comfortable with it. It makes it nice for them, and that's the important thing. So if you want to change the look and feel of your screens with the themes, you can do so, and there are a lot more of them, and you can download a bunch from Microsoft as well. You can customize your desktop color. Again, I use just one of the standard colors for mine, but you can set up some different colors that you want. You can pick your own accent colors, or you can let Microsoft Windows do it for you. You can also change the note in sticky notes. And if you aren't sure what sticky notes are, and I think I've got one here. No, sticky notes, I'm sure you're familiar with what a sticky note is, but there is a program that comes with Windows and has for several versions of Windows called Sticky Notes. I don't use them, but Robin does on her computer, and I don't do a screenshot of it because there are notes of reminders of things that she has for her own personal use. So I don't have any. I don't have a picture of it for you to see it. But what it does, it puts sticky notes on your desk, and it's part of your desktop, so it's always there. And you can delete them, you can change them, you can change the color of them, and so on. And how you find it, you can either go in your ink workspace and click on sticky notes. You'll see on the left when I clicked on the ink Windows Ink workspace, at the top are sticky notes, and if I just click on that, it'll open it. Or you can go to your menu and just go under sticky notes. If you're using an earlier version of Windows, for some reason or other, I think sticky notes, I say for some reason or another why I think it, because I can't check it because I don't have a Windows 7 machine, but I think on Windows 7 it may have been in Windows Accessories under the W's. So if you don't see it in alphabetical order as sticky notes, go to Windows Accessories and it's probably there. You can group apps to organize your start menu. I don't do this because I use so many different computers that I just want to see the ones that I use, but I don't use the menu a lot anyway, the start menu, but you can group a bunch together in one box. You can sleep tight with the night light. So if you turn the night light on and set what hour you want it to be, you get a lighter background. And so during the day it's nice and bright, and in the evening it's a lower tone. So if you have it in the bedroom or you have it in your living room with other things going on at night, it's not so bright. It doesn't call a lot of attention to the screen. You can change it. It's supposed to be better for your eyes as well. You can make text appear larger on your screen quite easily now by going to display, and then just change the size of the text, the apps, and other items by clicking the scale and layout, and your resolution, of course. And you can hear everything in one ear. If you use either a headset or you use earbuds, but you only use one of them, if you've got stereo on, you may only be hearing some of the audio. You don't hear all of it. Well, what you can do is make it mono now, and so all of the sound is coming through each of the speakers or each of the items from your headset. so that you get all of the sound. So you can use one earbud or one ear of your headset. Keeping in touch with people is another part of the update, the Fall Creator update. You can see all of your contacts in one place, so you can add accounts. So you can have your Outlook account, you can have your Google account, mail and calendar. So you can have several items now on your through your operating system and have them, so you can find that contact no matter what, where you keep it and how you keep it. Because the Outlook contact list and your Windows contact list now are not the same list. So you want to have both of those, and you can even add your Google account list as well, so you can find all that information at any time from your desktop. So this is my screen. You'll notice I've got the Gmail and my account, and I do have the Outlook mail and calendar. And there's some settings that you can do with it. You can choose either your Outlook.com, your Exchange, your Google, your Yahoo, your iCloud, and then there's some advanced settings as well. You can pin a contact to the taskbar. I mentioned that to you earlier. You can see how many notifications you have from your favorite people right on the taskbar. You find and pin the contacts and then choose the contact to pin. You can send an emoji to a pinned contact. So if there's somebody special in your life and you like to send emojis out, you can put their picture or their contact name on your taskbar, and then just select how you want to send it, and send an emoji. So you can keep in touch without having to do a lot of typing. Now, browsing the web. You can search the web using Cortana, and you select web, and then what you want, and it uses Bing. You can quickly search from the address bar. So if you want the weather in Paris, France, you just type in weather Paris, France, and it will give you the weather in Paris, France. Google's done this for years, but now you can do so using Cortana and Bing right from your desktop. You can read ebooks on the web. Leave heavy books at home, buy ebooks in the Microsoft Store, and read them in Microsoft Edge. And then in the browser, Hub Books, Get Books, and then you can read them right on your desktop. You can find your favorites in ebooks with the reading list or with the books list. And you can save web articles for later and add that to your reading list. So you can, as you're going through websites and you see an article or something, you want to go back to it later on, but you're not using something like Evernote or OneNote. I use Evernote, but that actually saves the notes. The reading list will save the link for you, and you can go back to them easily. You don't have to add all of those to your favorites. You go back, you read the article, and then you can delete it or do whatever, print it or save it, whatever you're going to do. But you can go back to it later on, so you can keep a reading list. You can say sometimes, well, I'm going through and, oh, there was a link in Facebook to an article, and I click on the article. Oh, this is an article, but it's quite long, and I want to look at it later. I just add it to the reading list, and then I can go back to it later on. You can save tabs for later. Let's say you're on a website and there's a tab. You can go ahead and save it for later. In other words, set it aside to when you're ready for it. So you can save 3 or 4 tabs and come back to them later on. You can quickly find the website you're looking for by going through the Show Tabs preview. So if you've got a lot of tabs open and you're not sure which one's which, by clicking that little down arrow, you'll see a small snapshot of all of the pages, and you can move your mouse over, hover it, and then click on it, and that'll open that tab. You can get your favorite sites right away. Then Microsoft Edge, you can pin the tabs to keep your favorite sites in the same place every time you open the browser. Press and hold or right-click a tab and then select Pin. And it will pin it to your to Microsoft Edge. You can pin sites, and I mentioned this earlier, and I did have another picture of this. You can pin your page to the taskbar, so it's a one-click, take you right to the page, which I mentioned earlier. And you can browse the web in full screen view, which cuts out all of the menus at the top of the browser. You just hit full screen, and then to exit the full screen, press F11. So just click that the bar that's got the double arrow going corner to corner, you'll see where it says zoom. What you do is zoom that web page to full screen, and then again, when you want to get it back, you just hit F11. Okay, getting organized in Fall Creator 1709. OneDrive files on demand. This feature returns. It was in the first iteration of Windows 8, and then in 8.1 they took it away. And it's finally returned. People have been asking for it. A lot of the professionals, I missed it. What you can see is your entire cloud storage structure without being required to sync everything to your local device to make that view possible. In other words, in order to have items in your cloud storage and Windows, in other words, the Microsoft OneDrive, you had to have a drive just like it, or a folder just like it on your hard drive. So if you had 1 terabyte of space, which is what you get when you have Office 365, and if you want to fill that, you're going to have a large hard drive, because you're going to put a terabyte of information on your local drive and also have it out on your OneDrive. Now, this is no longer required. You're going to have the option to selectively sync the files you want to be fully available on your hard drive at all times, and then other ones just listed on your hard drive, but actually are located on OneDrive. Otherwise, Windows 10 will manage this for you based on the file usage. So if you don't use a file a lot on your hard drive, it will automatically make that just a pointer to the file. Now, if you want OneDrive, you get 5 gigabytes free, which is not really a lot. But if you get OneDrive, you can get 50 gigabytes for $1.99 a month. Or if you have Office 365 Personal with premium OneDrive features, it's $69.99 a year, and you get a terabyte. And Office 365 Home with premium Office OneDrive features for $100 a year, you get 5 terabytes, but that's 1 terabyte for each of 5 users. So if you buy for $100, you can buy Office 365 and share it with other family members or others that you know. So at $20 a person per year is what you're paying. Not a bad deal. So if you've got some people in your family you want to share with, or you have multiple computers, that would be the way to go. And each one gets a terabyte of OneDrive space. And each one, you also get 5 mobile versions as part of that $99 a year, $100 a year, so that you could have it on 5 mobile devices besides 5 computers. I have it on my iPad, and I have it on my Android phone, and I also have it on my Chromebook, and I don't pay anything extra for having the full Office 365. We also have it on our laptop that Robin uses, and then I also have it on the Office. I'm sorry, the Microsoft Surface as well. So we're using most of the 5, but you may have more of a use for that. OneDrive Settings. That's the little cloud right in the center of where the settings are. And my OneDrive was up to date. I'm all set. They're all in sync, and that's what I would see. In the settings, you can have start OneDrive automatically when I sign into Windows, which I have. Then again, there's some other settings, display notifications when people share with me or edit my shared files, or save space and download files as you use them. That's what I've got marked. And there's some account information, autosave, network, office, and about settings that you might want to take a look at. Looking at my OneDrive, you'll notice there are several folders and files. Next to them is either a circled check mark or a circled or a cloud. The cloud means it's only on the cloud. The check mark means it's synced, so both have it, both my desktop and the cloud. And then you see the little person that looks like a cut off 8, but it's really a head on shoulders. That means there's something in that folder that's shared with somebody else. You can share it with people who have the link, or you can share it with people with certain people. And you can give them some rights. You can have them that they can only look at it, or that they can actually look at it and edit it. So there's some things that you can do with it when you share it. So if you've got a large file, you've got a video that you want to share with somebody, you can't email it to them. If you've got a file that's a gigabyte, you can't email that to them, and you can't even store it on a lot of places. So what you want to do is, all you have to do is put it on your OneDrive and then share it with them, and then give them the link, and they can download it, and they don't have to have a Microsoft account, and they don't have to have a password. If you have it set up that way, you can have it just so that they go to it and they can see that file and download it, and you may even give them access to edit it if you want them to make changes and so on in it. So if it's in the cloud and shared, you'll see that these were some videos I had, and they're fairly large files, and you can see the little cloud and you can see the little person. Those are shared with somebody, and that's what they would see when they log in. They would see those files. You tell them, okay, that's ready for you to download. They'd click on it, and then they can download them to their local computer or play them. You can organize your start with folders, so you can create folders on your start menu. And so you can, instead of having OneNote, Excel, and Word, you could have an Office folder and have them all in one if you wanted to. You can right mouse click on any particular program. You can pin it to your start. And let me see if I've got the more. No, I don't. If you click on more, it will say pin to taskbar or unpin from taskbar if it's already pinned there. And those may be some other choices. Or you can even uninstall the program from here. This is what a sticky note looks like. And you can save, you can go to Windows Inc. Workspace and create a reminder. And you can add more notes and so on. Hang on one second. Okay, and next. You can hide your desktop icons quickly. Just find a spot in your desktop, press and hold or right-click the desktop. I have found press and holding doesn't work for me, and I'm not sure. I think it's because I have another program that also works on my desktop called Fences, and that may keep it from doing it. So if I right-click the desktop, it brings up a view menu, and then I say you can, it'll have a check mark next to show desktop icons. If you click that and uncheck it, when you come back, they won't be on your screen. So you can have it either on your screen or not. There are some times where you want to clear it. There are other times where you want to have those icons available. And you can turn them on and off very quickly and very easily now in this new version. Shake to clear your workspace. If you have several windows open and there's only one that you want everything else to minimize. If you go to the top, see where the little white arrow is at the top of that particular window. If you click that, leave it clicked, and then move your mouse, that kind of shakes that window, and all the others will minimize, and that will stay open. And then just release the mouse, stop shaking first, release the mouse, and only that will be on your desktop. And cute a trick, and if it's convenient for you, it really is handy. It can be very handy for you. You don't have to go through and minimize everything on your desktop just to have one window open and active. Your Snap apps to side, you can take any particular window, grab the top of it, and quickly snap it to the side, and it will make a half a page on that side. If you do it to the upper part of the side, it will make it a quarter page. You can have up to 4 items on the page, and then once they're there, you can go to the middle and you can resize you can make the left side a little bit smaller or larger than the right side, so, and have things side by side fill the screen just by snapping them. You can organize open apps with virtual desktops. If you're not using the virtual desktops, you really should read about it and understand what they do. But you can have multiple desktops, and you can organize open apps in the operating system. You can hide notifications during presentations. And I try to do this when I do these presentations. It doesn't always work, and I'm not sure why. So sometimes notifications that I have an email come in, so I actually shut off that program that does that for me, but it's supposed to be hidden when I'm doing a presentation. However, what they've done now is they said only when you're duplicating your screen. So if I have it going to a projector, that's duplicating, and it won't come up then. But when I do these presentations through the internet, that's not really duplicating my screen, and it doesn't work then. But if you do a lot of presentations in groups in front of a room, and you're duplicating your screen to the screen through a projector, if you hit that hide notifications, it will hide them. You can quickly change settings in the Action Center. What I did on mine, I put it in quiet hours to keep things from popping up. But you can turn your Wi-Fi on, turn it off. You can turn the Bluetooth on, turn it off, just by going into your Action Center. And you can actually move, by going into your settings, you can move those boxes around in any order that you want as well. This is something that's new, so you can find the items that you want in your Action Center more quickly. And if you want quiet hours, you can hide distracting notifications. You can turn on quiet hours to set notifications and alerts directly to your Action Center. Select the Action Center on the taskbar, and then hit quiet hours. That's what I did for today, and that's what you might want to do. And that turns a lot of things off, including doing updates. So, and you can also, with updates, you can go into your settings and updates and tell it not to do them except between the hours of, say, 9 and 5 during the day. And so it'll only do the updates at night. You can get your files on all of your devices through the OneDrive. Add files to your OneDrive to get to them from any device. What I do is I've got some podcasts that I record, and I put them up on OneDrive, and then on my iPad I connect to OneDrive at night, and I put my Bluetooth headset on, and I can listen to them from my OneDrive very easily, and I update those. And once I've listened to them, I delete them. I don't need them anymore, and so I keep adding and deleting files in my podcast folder, and I'm able to do that on a regular basis very easily, very nicely from any device that I save, and I save them to the OneDrive, and then I play them back from my iPad. You can manage your storage, opening the OneDrive. When you do that, you can see the largest files in your OneDrive. You can see the recent ones. You can look at photos. You can look at the recycle bin from your OneDrive, and so on. So there's a lot of things you can do. You can see if there's a zip file, there's other items. You can click on them and use them. You'll notice that I've got 69.8 gigabytes used of 1.03 terabyte. So I got 1,000 gigabytes available, and I'm only using less than 100 gigabytes. So now I don't use a lot of the space. The new photo app is kind of neat. Microsoft's photo app introduces enhancements around the creation of videos and slideshows, including new 3D effects, music, and text features. What I did is I took some pictures, still pictures that I had, and I took 3 of them, 3 very different ones, created a video, sold one to be 3 seconds long, another one 2 seconds long, and the other one 2 seconds long, and to do some motion, and I told it what kind of motion I wanted, and what happened is this. So I was able to add sound to it as well. Sorry I woke you up on that. Let me play it one more time for you. You saw the motion. These were still pictures, and it just kind of pans them a little bit. And the music, too, is available for that particular for the program. So there's lots of music to choose from, and you can add your own. Whoops. So that's it. Those are all the changes that I thought I could fit into about an hour, and that's about what I did. And lots of information. Let me open up my, I'm going to hit this. And I'm going to open my chat box to see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop something into the chat box. And not seeing, usually I can tell if somebody's typing. I don't see anybody doing so. So I want to thank you for joining us. This has been the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group for the month of December 2017. This will be our last one for this year. Obviously, next month will be January. Oh, somebody is typing a question. So we'll come here just to remind you that we have the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group every month on the second Sunday at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon. Generally, we have the club join us. That's the purpose of it. But if they have a problem, and we do have some people online, we'll go ahead and do the recording anyway. Then they can play it or watch it on their own. Um, let's see, anything big missing? No, he asked if anything big was missing. No, I didn't notice anything. Uh, I've been quite pleased with the update. I've not had any issues. I did have, of the 3 computers that I had to put it on of mine, I had difficult with my laptop and I had to do it 2 or 3 times before it took. One advice I have is be very patient. It doesn't lock up while it's doing the update. If it doesn't do anything for a long period of time, leave it alone. Don't panic. Go away from it. Go do something else. Eventually, it will finish, or it will give you an error saying it didn't finish and retry it. And I did with the laptop. I had to retry a couple of times. If you're going to do the retry, I would suggest turning it off, turning it back on, and then doing the retry. In other words, shutting down properly, and then going back in, going back, and then going to the settings or the update page, tell it to find it, and then tell it to manually go ahead and do the update again, and then try it. And again, don't plan on using the computer for a while. It may go fairly quickly. When I say quickly, a couple hours, maybe less, or it may take all night to do. Whatever it is, whatever it does, you don't need to stop it, and you don't need to panic if it looks like it's just sitting in one spot and not doing anything, because it's doing work in the background. The next update will be in March or April, and if you don't like doing updates, don't not do them. Do them anyway, or you need to change your operating system. But the security of Windows 10 is very good, but you need to do the updates to keep it secure, and then be very careful on what you click on, because it doesn't matter what you have. If you click on the wrong thing and the wrong links, you could get infected, you could get some malware, you could get a virus. Thank you for joining. And I'm Huey Poplock, and I'll see you next month.